just joking around.
No, I don't know. I'm not kidding on that one. He doesn't care for his hair. He doesn't. He tells me on the phone. He never tries to admit it on the phone, but when it comes to in real conversation, he doesn't care for him.
Well,
realistically, but whatever.
I don't see. I mean, Devin's just. I don't know. Devin's just special. You know, all that weed pumping through his brain.
Nah, you always blame something on him, man.
Devin, I mean, Devin has his own opinions, but he's just. Devin's really just. I mean, knowing him more, he's just very, like, I guess, I don't know what the right word is for it. He's very, when it comes to his opinion, he's very, very stern about it. Like, his opinion, he'll tell you his opinion and you don't care how you feel about it, that person. You know? And that's the type of person he is, which, that's part of why I respect him, is because he don't care what, he don't care, he's going to say how it is, and he don't give a shit, you know? But then again, he's got to be careful, you know, because like you said, he almost got his ass beat, you know.
Nah,
so,
I mean,
so it's like he got to be.
He can do whatever he wants. It's whatever.
Yeah, but like you said, like he almost got. Yeah. Like right.
Say it again. Sorry.
I mean, didn't you say that like he almost got, because he does that shit? Didn't you say he almost got into some trouble because he almost got his ass beat because he was being him, you know?
Oh, from Ghost Rider? Yeah. Well,
yeah.
That was on a different thing, but I mean, if he would have kept going, sure, but you know, he was smart and he kind of stopped. So you know, there's that.
The worst Spider-Man actor, period, when it comes to just voice actor, is probably, who's the guy that played Spider-Man in who's the guy off of, How I Met Your Mother? He was the guy that played, he voiced after Spider-Man, and he was the worst voice actor of Spider-Man. He's the worst actor of Spider-Man in general that ever played. Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, okay.
He's the worst person to ever portray Spider-Man in voice or acting roles. That show was terrible. And it was actually supposed to take place actually after Spider-Man 1, but it was retconned because Spider-Man 2 came out.
All right, hold on.
That show was supposed to actually be like a sequel to like the first Toby TV series, a Toby movie.
All right. What's up, guys? Overrays, welcome back. Another live stream. We got your boy Deadwalker here. What's up, Joshua?
What's up? What are we doing?
We got how's it going? Not too bad, not too shabby. How you doing? We got fire content for you guys. I've never seen the WonderCon of Fear.
The Dead City trailers tomorrow.
We got that we'll be doing that in the Walking and Thursday stream, so stay tuned. We'll be covering that as well as going over Fear. I'll slightly go over it when I watch the episode and react to it, which it will be in the next 53 minutes. I hope so. If it turns 3 and I don't see the episode, I'm gonna lose it. They fucking wait till 9 p.m., man. I'm gonna be like, bro, I'm gonna go over there myself and do it myself. I'll drive over to their network and I'll freaking do it myself. Bullshit on that 9 p.m. crap. Episode 1 from the Daryl Dixon channel. Yeah, I know. That Daryl Dixon channel doesn't give a shit. He puts it out whenever he wants to.
Which you for some reason said that's that's Norm Reedus.
Well, the original account, I thought it was. But I guess it isn't. So, whatever. Because they took down that channel and now another one. Well, I found 2. So, it could be the same guy or it could be 2 different people. But either way, they get away with it for a good duration, you know. Long enough to where it's like, whatever. you know, whatever. You know, so, but, either way. I don't care. They're giving me cool info. And I like it. So, keep giving me the info. And they are a reliable source because every time they send something, it's legit. So, I take their word for it. So, I would be watching the AMC Plus app, but, fortunately, I don't got that here, so. So I got it on YouTube, but the weird thing is it's in small format, which I don't know why. That's confusing to me, but whatever. So, what type of drink is that? This is Major Melon, Mountain Dew Major Melon. It's pretty good. Not bad. You might like it. I like it. Sweet.
Of the Walking Dead conclusion.
We'll be kind of watching
Fear
this.
will end its story after 8 seasons with 6 episodes, premiering Sunday, May 14th at...
Yeah, we're going to skip ahead here because I watched a little bit of it.
It's amazing.
Gay-ass Ian Gober. The gay-ass fricker
Welcome,
here.
everyone. Welcome. Welcome to WonderCon 2023. Hello.
I don't know why this is so small. I don't get it.
All right, so Ian Goldberg, let's start with you. What
The worst guy to start with.
can these kind folks expect for season 8? First of all, season 8. How did that feels surreal?
It does feel surreal. It's amazing to be making a season 8 of this show.
Surprised you're still here.
Only because I guess everybody at this point knows this will be our final season.
Good.
Thank you so much. You are the best fans in the world. And we make this show for you.
Yeah, right.
And
Bullshit.
we are so honored that we've been able to tell these stories
Yeah, I
for such
have.
a long time. And we're excited to share
I haven't
this
really paid
final
much
season
attention
with
to
you.
it, but
So
I've heard
what
of
can viewers expect in this final season? Where are we? How what's some of the setting?
Well, if you remember, at the end of season 7,
trash.
Morgan and Madison made a pact, an unlikely alliance where they are going to go into Padre and get baby Mo out. And of course, the other thing that was teased was the fate of everyone else who fled the nuclear landscape. Strand's tower was burning, and everybody wound up on those rafts. And so we are going to be picking up those stories in season 8. And one of the things that we're going to be seeing a lot of is life inside of Padre. It's something we've been teasing since season 7. And we really wanted to lean into what does life look like inside this place we've heard so much about. And we're going to do it in a conceptual way that you will see when you see it, that we're actually going to be jumping forward in time 7 years. So when we find our characters, a lot of time has passed, and we're going to see how they're navigating.
I bet you they
their
wouldn't
new
have done this if
realities,
it wasn't the final
whether that's
season.
inside, outside of Padre. It's a whole new ballgame.
They've had a time, like literal double apocalypse, like zombie apocalypse and a nuclear apocalypse, and then they're jumping forward in time also.
I hate to say it, but it doesn't get any easier after the double apocalypse.
Become a sitcom in season 8. Oh,
Well, no shit on that one.
Michael Satrazemis, who is literally like The Walking Dead is not The Walking Dead without Michael Satrazemis. This guy is not only one of the coolest, sweetest people you could ever meet, but responsible for so many of your favorite things and moments within the Walking Dead universe. And so exciting that you directed this episode. I know you shot in Savannah. Can you talk about this premiere episode that we're later in the year?
You're very welcome. Thank you. Because without you guys, I wouldn't be living my dream. That's the truth for sure. You fueled the last over a decade of my life, and I am truly living my dream because of you. So thank you. Listen to the season 8. No shows go this long, so getting the opportunity in a season 8 and the last season to kind of change the entire palette and the landscape that we shoot on by moving to Savannah and just recreating and reinventing kind of the difficulties of the apocalypse and the palette and the look of everything, and then making the 7-year time jump was really special. I mean, it's a very, very special season. It's a very special episode. The season, in the 12 episodes that it shoots, moves very, very quickly, and I feel like we found a really beautiful way to end it, and I'm so happy to have been a part of that. Most shows don't have this kind of completion, so it's elegant and beautiful. It's, it's devastating and filled with humanity, all the amazing attributes the apocalypse needs. But the pilot is. You're gonna love it. You are. I love it.
I was so excited at the end of last season for Madison's return.
Love is a strong word.
Amazing. And over the years we've gotten to become pals, and I so appreciate it because I've just been a fan of your work for so long. And to see Madison come back, can you talk a little bit about your experience of returning to the apocalypse and what did you miss about it? Was there stuff you didn't miss about? Like, what's it been like for you?
It's been really incredible to get to come back, and especially to get to come back and finish it. And I do want to thank Ian and Andrew for bringing me back. I never thought it would happen. I'm so grateful it happened.
You're being nice.
The right
you
way
really are.
to do it. And
no, you don't need to thank them. You need to thank the fans. If it wasn't for the fans, your ass wouldn't be back. That's the only reason why they brought your ass back.
Thank Ian and Andy for killing you off in the first place, too.
Well, the only reason why they brought you back is because they got rid of Alicia, and the ratings tanked, and they wanted to bring the ratings back up. So they thought, oh yeah, we got to bring you back. That's the only reason. That is the only reason. It is. There's no lie about that. I get it. She's on TV and she's in front of them and everything. So of course she's gonna play it nice. That's how they do things. Understandable, but realistically though, no, she came back because the fans wanted her back, and they saw a chance to hopefully get more people to watch because they're bringing her back. That's what it came down to. It's not because they want to. Believe me, I don't think they do, because if they did, they wouldn't have got rid of her in the first place. You know what I mean? So clearly they didn't care about her character at all because they got rid of her in the first place. But to be honest, I was okay that she left because she probably would have got shitty writing anyway. So, it's alright. Well, you gay ass shit too, your freaking phone for falling off like that. What's up, Tiffany? Thank you. Much love. Good joke, Race. Oh, not really a joke, but okay.
right time, and it felt really poetic and beautiful, and I was honored to feel like I could be a part of taking it across the finish line with what the show had become. So it was really exciting to me. And what I missed about it was pretty much everything. It's the greatest show to work on. The cast and crew, nobody works harder than them. No one's more passionate. It becomes this beautiful family, obviously.
You want to sleep?
Yeah, it does.
Not after this one, but after I do
and helping
reaction
each other
to Fear
get there.
Season 8, Episode 1.
So it was fun to be back for that.
But yes, there will be a
I love all
season
the
3.
action stunts, so that's always fun to do. What did I not miss? Being in water in the middle of the night. Alligators, turns out. I didn't miss those.
I don't ever hear anyone go, I really miss alligators. Like, no one, I don't think anyone's ever said I really miss alligators. Maybe they have. So, just refreshing our memory a little bit, returning at the end of season 7 was obviously a big, wonderful surprise for everyone. But can you talk about a little bit about the reason for Madison's return and what she's hoping to accomplish with Padre moving forward?
Morning Wood, what do you mean by that?
You mean after the end of season 7?
Yes.
Yeah, she turns.
Why she came back? What's she doing going into the season 8?
Well, she sort of turned the tables on what she was doing with Padre, and she sort of saw the light, I guess, by meeting Morgan and made a decision to go back and get Mo. And so that's where we left them. That's kind of all I can say, right?
I don't know about that,
Yeah.
Tiff.
Did she feel like the same Madison to you, or did you approach her differently in this
Let's keep it appropriate,
And she's
alright?
Nate.
Yeah.
She's a little bit different.
Yeah. And is that part of what was exciting about coming back? It's like, well, it is Madison, but there's this whole other dimension to her that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, that was really exciting for me. I mean, it's also harder. It's like, oh God, I've got to find this new sort of angle and this new level to her, and you really sort of pushed me there, and especially in 801. You know, those first scenes that we can't talk about, but
Anytime Lenny James and Kim Dickens are in a scene together, it is riveting and amazing and special. And I think you're a pro, and you started it and came straight in and landed it immediately. So
thank you.
Jenna Elfman.
Great to know, Tiff. I don't want to
So
know.
June, first of all,
So please don't share
has
that
had
here.
multiple names, but we've settled on June, and June has evolved so much. In really just 4 seasons, really. I think season 4 was when you came on
That's right.
board.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
talk about her character evolution? How do you see it after 4 years?
I love getting to play all the evolutions. I don't think people go through these heavy-duty experiences in life. Any of us, like you know, your friends, your family, yourselves, when you go through very heavy trauma, you're not the same person. And getting to explore someone who was so broken when we met her, finding love, what that healing process looked like, how it inflated her soul, to then lose him. And you know, when you have loss after loss, each loss kind of triggers all the earlier ones in an avalanche. And so to watch her, you know, always try and stay connected to her purpose to help. That is her North Star, and that is what keeps her sane, or that's how she orients herself. And I have loved, and I'm full of gratitude for Ian and Andrew writing stories where I can change and evolve and sink my teeth into all the nuance and evolution of a character. And you know, with Mikey's guidance, always giving me confidence to explore and confidence to bear all my vulnerabilities, and it's been really awesome.
Was this last season kind of surreal for you from that standpoint?
You know, I couldn't even think about it as the last season until I actually finished the show, because it's so all-consuming of your bandwidth. And I love what the time jump brought in terms of we're arriving into this story with 7 years more experience under our belts, good and bad. And we are finding these characters at a point of, I have a little analogy that's, when I was a teenager, I went on a field trip to the beach, and I got myself into a situation in the ocean where wave after wave was crashing on me. And every time I'd come up to try to catch my breath, another one hit me and took me under, to the point I really only had about a half a breath left before I was gonna not be breathing anymore. And no one had ever taught me to dive through the wave. I had never been taught that. So I was just getting hit by the wave, and about to lose my breath and sink in the ocean. And then someone in that last moment looked over and saw me and grabbed my hand and said, "Go through the wave." And I just started diving through the waves, and I was able to finally get the breath enough to make it to shore. To me, that's what season 8 feels like for June. She's on the last centimeter of air when we find her, and we find out what's happened, and the exploration of who lends their hand, who teaches her how to dive through the wave, and ultimately she has to dive through the wave. And I love that exploration of facing the trauma to go free.
Christina Evangelista, Sherry has also been through a lot.
Sure.
And she, moving forward into season 8, well, first of all, it was backstage we were talking about. I said, are you done shooting? You go, yeah, we just finished like last week, and you said you had this really epic last day of shooting. Like your last day of shooting sounded like.
It was an eventful, very eventful last day. It was a combination of earth, wind, and fire.
She's kind of cute looking.
We show up to work and we're in the van ride together, and we're talking about how we're going to miss each other, and we're really sad, and it's raining, so it's really setting the scene. And we get to work, but it's raining continuously outside, but it's not wet enough. So they bring in these massive machines, and they're just dousing us in rain. And I'm talking like such hard pressure that I can't even open my eyes. Like my underwear is wet. And we do that for maybe like 4 or 5 hours, and then right after that I run out of a burning building for the next few. So it was a very, yes, all yes.
I mean, that feels like a great way to wrap
It was
up
pretty
the
epic.
Dead
It was
show.
pretty epic. Those rain machines were powerful.
Well, the weather had forecasted for a bunch of rain, and instead of having to push or only shoot half of your day, we had to bring in the towers. So it was sorry.
It was like being power washed out of a series.
I think I lost a layer of skin.
Felt brutal.
You didn't miss us too much.
It's easier to say goodbye when you suffer.
You don't ever want to feel bad the show's over. You're like, oh, glad that's over. So where is Sherry at going into season 8? You know, obviously in as much as you can tell.
Yeah, season 8, I mean, it's a different time, in a very different environment, in a new community. And I think
Did you
being
try?
a part of this community,
Tell me,
there's
please.
a lot of very
Share that
a new
info.
set of heartless and impervious rules that need to be
I wanna
abided
know.
by. And in that, a lot of sacrifices are made. And I think the
sacrifices are made.
Community was to make a safe environment for their family.
What are you hinting at?
And once they get there, they realize that it's very unsafe. And it's that, you know, tale old time of the devil you know is worse than the devil you don't. And I think as the season goes on, it's this exploration of Sherry really regaining some strength to take a risk and to do what's best for her family.
I would love to. Oh, by the way, I want to have a huge hand also for Andrew Chambliss, who could not be here today.
Risk and do what you need to do for family.
You know, I was saying I feel
Kinda
like I've
hinting
seen you
it
a lot
right
last
there.
years, but most of it's just been on like Skype because we did Talking Dead virtually for so long. Seeing you in person it's just really nice to see. It's nice to see all of you in person. You're all here, right? This isn't just a weird project. Okay, great. This isn't AR or something. So, Ian, with
Yes, they're
Madison's
really there.
return, how is that affecting the storyline moving forward? You know, obviously Kim teased a little bit about it, but you know, you said, hey, we are going to see more of the inner workings of Padre. But how does this character dynamic, especially you know, with Morgan and where he was at, how does that affect? How does that drive the story forward?
Well, I think for Madison, she is on a journey toward redemption. When we saw her at the end of season 7, we got a sense of
She's
everything
not that
she's been through since she survived
Redeem
the
herself.
stadium. And
We'll see about that.
what she endured under Padre's thumb, and now that she's coping with the sum total of all those actions, and she's crossed paths with Morgan, it's put her on this whole new trajectory.
We'll see
And the
about that. I
question
thought she
is,
was trash.
You know, how's
finale.
she going to be able to navigate that? And I think one of the things that
Disappointing.
was really important to Andrew and I when we started mapping out the season is we knew we had the blessing to know this was going to be the final season. We were going to write the characters toward conclusions. But one of the most interesting things is we talked about conclusions and we also talked about beginnings. Because everything is about characters going on those journeys. Where did they start and where do they end up? And what you will see as you watch the season is that all of the characters are in some ways grappling with things that they have grappled with since their beginning of the journey on the show. You see it a bit in the trailer with Morgan and that sign for King County, and he's holding the gun that Rick gave him. And I think that, you know, it really is a full circle journey for all of our characters, and that's how we're going to see how far they've come when they're faced with a lot of ghosts and scars from their pasts that are rearing their heads in different ways.
And then for Michael, working with Ian and Andrew and sort of mapping out this final season, how do you even, is that a gargantuan task, trying to figure out like, oh, how do we wrap up, 8 seasons of a show that, oh, by the way, is also part of this larger universe? Like, what kind of goes into how much anxiety, like, what do you even think about this?
A lot of anxiety goes into a move, to Savannah in a season 8. I mean, I think the one thing that makes it easier for me was that they were so far ahead in the writing, and and Ian and Andrew had really mapped out a lot. So once we get into it really early before we're shooting, we can already sit and talk about the visuals and how we're going to separate different storylines out and within looks and the palette of everything. And and then I can, once we've had our meeting, then I take the production designer, the cameraman, the location manager, and start saying that, flipping through scene by scene of what we're going to look at and how we're going to kind of, reshape the palette that we're going to tell the story on. And, I mean, as far as the journey to wrapping the show up, I haven't been a part of that other than Tales, but it was a 6-episode anthology, something this long, you don't think about it. Put your head down and shoot it, and I know that it's going to get quiet and silent at some point, and I'll think about the last 12 years of my life, including Fear. But until then, we're still making something special. I'm still present with the people that I love creating with, and that's what you do. You live for that moment till the very, very end, knowing that it'll get quiet and then you'll curl into a small ball and cry for weeks.
Well, it is. It's such a significant part of everyone's lives who's involved, but then also, just knowing, obviously, as fans of television, we know as viewers the task of wrapping up a show, especially a show that's been on for a long period of time. Like, what storylines do you tie up? What storylines do you sort of just let the audience go, well, they'll just, they'll figure, the audience will kind of decide what that is, and like finding that balance between those two things.
Yeah, the one thing that I feel very lucky and privileged to be a part of is the way that Ian and Andrew wrapped this story up. It's elegant and karmically correct and doing in a way that most shows don't ever get the chance to do, to work with Kim and finish the story up with Madison. Maybe, I don't know what I'm allowed to say. It feels special and it feels complete, and it's really elegant and beautifully done. And to have the personal journey that you have with this amount of time on a show, it's really nice to feel that.
Better not be hinting that she's gonna die.
Is the same completion. It feels really great.
Yeah, because I hope people really do understand that the performers, the creators, the crew, the directors, everyone.
I'm telling you, if you
really
kill some good characters off,
I mean, I think it's easy
I'm not gonna give a fuck what about the premiere or the other
screen
episodes after that, even if they were good. I'm gonna be like, you're
becomes part of
trash.
Their personal experience, because they live it so much for so long. That it probably did it,
So you
for,
better
you know,
not
for
fuck it
everyone,
up.
did it sort of feel, have you resolved it yet, or do you still feel like you've got to still kind of process that it's done, or will you do that? What do you think?
We talk about that all the time, even as the season was going on, and we couldn't really wrap our heads around the idea that this was the end of it. And we still don't feel like it is. We're still really holding on. And it's really nice to experience it through moments like
spin-offs,
this.
right?
And
Yeah.
as we watch it,
Yeah.
that we're very excited that the show's going to be premiering soon. And
Maybe,
we'll
possibly.
get to live and explore it
Yeah.
through that also. But I think it's hard to just let go. It truly is, for a lot of reasons. We love the people we work with, but we love the characters so much.
Better not be the end.
And we've been so engrossed in their lives, and it's been a part of ours. So it's, it definitely takes some time.
Just in the last few days, I sent June to a vacation cabana.
Maybe I'll go meet her.
Yeah, I had to send her off.
Yeah, it is. But even so, 8 seasons of a show is incredible. Especially now, it just feels like it's harder and harder to keep shows on the air for longer and longer. That it really is. And I would always say that with The Walking Dead and Talking Dead, it's like we're in bonus territory. It's like it's such rarefied television air,
It is.
to get to exist in this space and to get to after years and years and years, come out and see fans and see the show still alive because y'all keep it alive. And, you know, and I know that from my perspective too, I really appreciate that. Getting back to the sort of the Morgan of it all, though, Kim, obviously Morgan knew Alicia quite well, but his first introduction to Madison was shaky at best. So can you talk about sort of navigating their path forward together a little bit, and how will these two characters like find trust possibly?
You know, I mean, just you asked me the question, I started to think about Lenny, and you say trust, and that is part of the thing we missed, is that we're out there together doing these things, and we trust each other so much. And this guy, I want to just address what you were saying a minute ago. He honors our characters. I mean, that's his goal every single moment, is to honor these characters and honor the story. It's so beautiful to be a part of it, and I was excited to come back to see everybody because I'm not ready to let it go. It's intense when you create so much and trust so much together, and it's a really special experience. But that aside, so I met Morgan, and we roughed each other up a bit. But then at that moment when he sees the tattoos and realizes who Madison is, that is a profound moment for Madison, and that kind of snaps her out of things at the end of season 7. So I think what I learned from working with Lenny and Madison and Morgan together was that almost like Morgan's like Lenny, like you see him and you feel that heart and that complexity, and you don't know exactly what's happened, but you know something's happened and he's doing the best he can, you know what I mean? And I think that just sort of switches Madison. She sees that, she can't help but see that. You know, maybe that's the counselor that she used to be. So I think he awakens in her, you know, the reality of her having had children and what she was and what she wanted to be, and she corrects her course.
Yeah, and Morgan's journey also, and we talk about this a lot on Talking Dead too. He's had so many different paths along his journey to get to where he is now that I feel like is a very realistic interpretation of, if you were survived apocalypse, you'd try this, and then you would try
this scene better be good.
It's just about, you know, how do you survive moment to moment, and he's changed and adapted and grown so much along that path. And
Why not piss me off?
Here,
Otherwise,
but Lenny did send along.
the shitter she goes.
Lenny's calling in right now. I think there's a call coming in, and the caller ID says Lenny James, I think. Can we bring that call up? Lenny James. Jenna, we talked a little bit about approaching this season, but can we talk a little
bunch
bit
of
about
frickers, they couldn't show it.
what June's storyline might? Can you tease anything about where, you know, what might be happening in season 8?
It's a June you've not seen before. That's what I got really excited when I mentioned the time jump. She's gone really dark. She's had
Good, I like dark.
Betrayal's the worst, right? When you open yourself up and you're doing everything you can to be the best version, to contribute, to help, and that help is manipulated and betrayed, it tangles your soul in a way with the most amount of pain. Even small betrayals in our life, but this is... So we find her kind of in that space, and she's rogue and gone dark and needs to find her way back. But the beautiful thing in these stories is when the characters hit bottom and they need to find their way back, some beautiful things start to come in for them. And you get to watch that journey of, you know, them sort of being pulled out of the chaos and the sewage and finding their way back to who they are somehow. And I love the story this year. I love it so much. I'm so excited for everyone to see it. And you know, a big part of when we were filming, and Christina and I, we would talk about this, you know, we had these huge, very intense days of filming, very heavy emotions. And it's very hard to go back to the hotel and just get in your bed and go to sleep. after you've been in this headspace. It's like when you guys are watching, you're in that space with us. You know, it's a very similar like intensity, but for like 14 hours of the day. And a huge part of, we would go home and we would just, or at the hotel and just sit outside and we would have to just talk about it to like get it out and process
really great.
it. Both the day and the fact that this was the end.
Sort of like a Talking Dead type experience.
Where were you? Like the actor version.
Talking Dead and
Where
also,
was he? He doesn't love you anymore.
Yeah, totally. It was
I couldn't
all
survive the apocalypse, but I could come
He thinks
sit
your
down
show
and
is
talk
trash.
about What you did in the apocalypse. That would be my
That's why I
It
stopped
was a
watching.
process the whole time, and I had moments of feeling really weird and sad, and you know, I'm living in June
I thought
space,
she was
I'm
gonna bring
living in
that up. Where
actor
are you?
space, you know, but it was so lovely to get to know Christina.
You
and
stopped
have
watching
this
because your
time
show is shit.
Together, we just found ourselves at the hotel, getting each other through with lots of talking.
It wasn't good
Lots of
anymore.
talking.
Lots of
I think
Why
it
keep
was one of the
watching?
best parts of relocating to Savannah. We're in this new place, and most of us
Sorry,
are
not
living in the
sorry.
same area, and you know, we just hang out with each other all the time, and we choose to. And I
What
think
happens
that's
when you
really
get
special.
shitty showrunners like
It's different
that
than when
loser
you're on
over
set,
there in
'cause
the
you're-
in the
it's-
fucking
you're at work,
glasses?
but when you come home, you need to process, and it can be very lonely. My husband and my children are not the ones to hear all of my yap about my process. You know what I mean? Like, and you can't talk to anybody about it because it's confidential. It actually becomes quite lonely sometimes, this process. And you can't talk to anybody. And it's super intense. So it was really lovely friendships were made through that whole process.
But also, you're spending all day long, multiple hours a day, in challenging environments, scooping literally
Yeah,
every
you get
bit
that
of
you get
emotion
the
and
glasses
soul
guy
that you
fucking
have
out of there. You get the
out,
other
and then
asshole
what
out of
you're
there. And then
left
okay,
with
then we're
when
talking.
you come back. I mean,
The doorman saying, "Welcome back, Miss Elton." You're like, I still have like blood and dirt.
Kim, have you, you know, through your work, are there ways that you're able to like leave the work at the door? Or, like, how do you sort of, you know, like especially on a show like this, come back and decompress?
Yeah, I've gotten so that I can leave it. You know, I do a lot of prep work where I sort of beat out the script with all the different beats and the emotional beats and the places I have to go to, and I figure out, you know, my personalizations for that, and I sort of memorize that with it, you know, so that, because you have to work quickly on our show. You have to grab this stuff has to come up quickly, the intense, it's high stakes, and that's life or death most of the time. So you're operating in this place where you have to really bring the truth to dire situations, and you have to do it quickly. So it takes a lot of preparation work, and I think for me, I'm excited to do the work, and then it's okay, I'm done. Then I can get in the van, and you know, Coleman and I would be talking, then we go to dinner, or we do our laundry together. You know, like we were, you know, it's like you don't get tired of each other. You know, you kind of need each other, and that's the way you transition out of it. I think.
Christine, the last time we saw Sherry, she was pregnant. So what do you think is going through her mind as she gets on the boat at the end of season 7?
I think Sherry and Dwight are always looking for a safe haven. And now that they are bringing a child into this world, you know, they really need to be sure that they're in an environment that is the best option that they could think of at the time. And at the time it was. And it was an unknown traveling to Padre, and nobody knew what would unfold there. But I think in her mind, she's really thinking from a very maternal point of wanting to give her child the best possible life in this very dark world. And it's getting on the boat, I think, is really just an act of faith and hope, and that'll be what they need. And I think as it unfolds, when they get there and time passes, that the sacrifice that they made that day to go there was far too great, and it really changed the course of their life. And that's when they're faced with the decision of making another change or not. And that's sort of like, that really is the catalyst for this season.
We still have some time left in the panel, but just because we couldn't for Dead City, but if we have a couple of questions, if people do want to ask a couple of questions, we certainly can. You certainly don't have to. But sort of moving forward, Michael, because you've been involved in so many different facets of the Walking Dead universe, can you touch upon it a little bit at the beginning, but how does, every show has its own personality and its own identity. So how do you think of Fear, and how do you see it? Like what facet within the Walking Dead universe do you believe it holds?
Well, I mean, all the shows, they just need to have their own distinct identity outside of each other. Obviously the common thread is the apocalypse and all of the struggles and then the humanity that comes with everything and playing with evolution. Personally, each show that I've done has been more of a personal journey for me, because it's been a different point in time in my career with different creative possibilities and challenges. For Fear, it's always been about story. It's always been about creating a kind of selfless environment and bringing the people that we create with into a selfless environment so that we can make it story first. And then it does reinvent itself every season. I mean, that's something that we've always been really cognizant of trying to, even throughout half seasons, trying to reinvent it, to keep it fresh, to give it a new look, and then hopefully, have stories and settings that that allow us to change.
Yeah, we're just doing
and to keep developing it, to keep it fresh.
Breaking Bad like every other week or something like that. I don't know, every third week or something.
That was pretty impressive and really exciting to.
We kind of slowed down on it as we kept going.
Design the reinvention. It was much easier, to tell you the truth, even though it was very difficult. It was easier to know that we
you're
were
probably thinking like, what the frick, man? Keep going, right?
The lowlands of the East Coast,
right?
And then a lot of the other set pieces.
Right there, Walker.
And I will say too that Andrew and I are
Mr.
so lucky
Bitches is
that
only
we got to
kind of
create
tone
the
that
template
down
for
with
the
Breaking
show,
Bad a little bit.
starting in season 4 with Mikey, because Mikey,
You should listen
we
to
were
him.
huge fans of his from his work on Walking Dead, and I told him this in a tearful moment after we wrapped, so I'll say it again, which is I have learned more about filmmaking from you over the course of this show than I ever could have dreamt possible, and I know Andrew feels the same way, so.
Oh.
Yes,
Thanks.
please.
But I literally am a product of all the amazing people that I'm surrounded by. So, yeah, I love you.
I love you
Did
too.
we have any questions? Were there a couple of questions from the audience?
Yo, you're gross.
Yes, and then we have a question up here in front too. But we'll bring the
That's
microphone.
gross. We fucking love each other. That's gross.
Yes.
Hi.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Since in the past some actors have directed a few episodes, while other actors have directed outside of the show, how often do any actors give directing advice to whoever's directing a certain episode?
That's a very good question.
Did you get the algorithm?
I haven't had that pleasure. But I think the unique thing of television is that nobody knows their character better than themselves. So I think there's always a unique way that as guest directors come in that we all look out and that to protect the show and what the show is and what the characters are and I think there's a crossover, but there's I think we've always been very lucky to have amazing directors that nobody has to tell them how to direct.
Wonderful. Thank you for your question. Do we have a wireless microphone that we could bring up to the front?
Hi. So I've been a big fan of Fear the Walking Dead since the beginning. Saw every panel since 2018, which was my first WonderCon, and so happy to be here for the end. And my question concerns Charlie for the final season. And
Oh my
I know
God.
Madison doesn't really know that Charlie was the one who killed Nick and later became...
Oh no.
What?
She becomes like an adoptive
Yeah, that's right.
father
You
for,
do it. You bash
Alicia.
her brains in,
And
Madison.
I just want to know, how would Madison feel about that relationship once she actually sees Charlie?
Kill her. Right away.
That is a great question, and you should definitely watch season 8.
Oh, good. She dies. Good. Her head's going to get bashed in. I love it.
That I can't answer.
Yeah, that nobody can answer.
Yes.
Good question.
I don't know if I heard, but what is your name and question?
Please talk about Charlie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can barely even hear.
Oh, that's a great question. So Susie up front was asking Jenna because Jenna is an amazing comedic performer as well. I mean, Jenna really can do everything. And I mean, yeah, the first time I met you was like, you did a podcast with me like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 years ago, and it was so much fun, and you're so funny, and I was so excited.
Yeah, they couldn't answer that question because it was about Charlie and the relationship with Madison and Charlie. And I said, yeah, bash your fucking brains in.
The sort of balance in between the comedy,
Killer right there.
the comedy, is it separate?
That's the
How do you see
relationship.
the two?
Very separate. It's like two different portals.
And they said they couldn't answer that. They said watch season 8.
The kinesiology,
I said, oh, okay, so she's
the
gonna die.
spirituality,
Good.
mentally on a character, the physicality. It's
Better.
night and day, two different worlds for me.
wanna
So
see it.
when I started on Fear, I actually had to
I'll
just
I'll
park
celebrate
my
if you do it.
entire
Do it.
orientation to comedy away, and just open myself up to a new world. And you know, it was had a very intense learning curve. I had done drama before, but not something like this. This is like, they take you back to the scruff of the neck and shove you underwater. You're like, ah. So it's been a very dynamic, fulfilling, and every moment, he's my anchor, Mr. Michael Satrazemis. He's my everything. He gave me the faith in myself and kept me believing in my ability as an artist, and I'm forever grateful.
Jenna was born to do heavy, dramatic material, and watching her get a chance to grab a hold of it and succeed like that is really special. But it's always been in there. She just got the opportunity here.
That is a wonderful point too about yes, absolutely. It isn't just drama, it's like running drama. It's not like you're in an office going, you'll never take over this company. You know, it's like, it's you're running through environments and swinging weapons and getting rained on. And I must feel like, I'd be surprised if there wasn't like acting classes for action now, because there's so much genre television. I guess for Kim and for Christine, just kind of opening up a little bit, does this kind of like action drama, is it more fun, you know? Do you prefer it, or do you prefer the more like you're in one location and it's like just drama?
I like the action and the challenge of it, and the choreography of it. And I mean, even like when we have so many props and weapons and things and walkies and guns and weapons and babies, and you know, you got a lot of it. It's like
And alligators.
And alligators.
That's it.
And, yeah. So you get, you know, you got to make it look like they're a part of your body, and I like that. I mean, that's like a new tool that we all have in our profession, because I've seen some, you know, people really stumble over one prop because it's not easy. But so that's been, I think all the action and all that stuff has given us just more to our resume, really. And I like that, and so much so that I see like, oh, I have dialogue scenes. Oh.
Yeah, I think the challenge of it all just makes me inhabit the body of the character, and this is certainly my first super physical character that I ever played, and I love it. I mean, you could ask Mikey. Anytime there's a stunt scene, I'm like, give me more, give me more. Who can I kill? It's really exciting, but it just, all of that stuff just keeps your adrenaline pumping so much, and it just makes you embody the character even more. It's certainly been, I think, my favorite part of working on the show.
Yes, we have another audience question. What is your name?
My name is Joseph.
Hi.
I've been watching The Walking Dead series, Walking Dead Beyond and Fear the Walking Dead, and I can't wait to see Walking Dead Dead City. I have a question about Morgan. Is Morgan going to protect his family from the walkers?
Yes, I would say yes.
If I know Morgan.
Morgan is one of the best Walker killers in the universe, and we're gonna see that on full display in season 8. You know, and I think Morgan's got it handled with the Walkers for the most part. The people are a different thing, and a lot of
You better not kill him, otherwise I'm gonna kill you.
It does, and actually, it's a really good question too, because Morgan,
You'll die with him.
He went through that period where it was like he was super zen. He didn't want to, like he was just.
It'll be the end of Mr. Ian.
He had all this Eastern stuff, and
Yeah.
So he really has had. I think it's a good question because it is. It just, again, it speaks to what I was saying earlier about how he's had this real journey with life and death, and who is he in this world, and how does he navigate it, and is it, can you, even though you
We'll
know
have a
it's
little sad stream for
necessary
Ian.
sometimes to
Rip
protect
Ian.
yourself and your family and your
2023.
community, how do you reconcile, It's just, especially we get so conditioned on shows.
He got
like,
eaten
okay,
by
we're
a
just
zombie.
casually
It ripped him to
killing
shreds.
Things, so is he able to reconcile that?
Well, I think, a visual way that you really can see Morgan's evolution on the show is his weapon. When he was with Eastman, he started with the fighting stick, and he learned Aikido. Starting in season 6, that stick broke, and on one side is the sharpened stick, and on the other is the axe, the weapon we affectionately refer to as the stacks, which kind of represents these two sides of Morgan, which are, there is still the peaceful warrior Morgan, but there is also a man who's realized what he has to do to protect the people he cares about, and that's a really cool and interesting duality to that character. And by the way, the stacks was Lenny's idea. So
I
give
thought
credit
so.
where credit is due to have those two.
I didn't think you would be clever enough to come up
those
with
two
that.
ends embodying the different evolutions of Morgan.
Wonderful. Thank you for your question, and for the AMC executives who are here, they're very excited to hear that you watch all the shows. That was a very good.
Thank you.
Back then, you're like, see, this is good. Glad we're doing all these. I think we have time for one more question.
Yeah, we're gonna keep watching them too
I want
until
to
the
save
very
some
end.
time to show some other things. Yes, what is your name and question?
Hello, my name is Valentino. The question is, will we see The Walking Dead in other parts of the world?
Will we see The Walking Dead in other parts of the world?
That's a good question. I like his
really
t-shirt.
wish Scott
His
Gimple was
comment.
here. Should we call him?
Yeah, let's call him.
But this guy answered the non-answer though. Well, we might see different types of foliage. And, you're like, just what is it? But we know we are because we know that Norman is shooting the show.
Yeah, we know
I don't know where the Rick and Michonne show takes place, but it's probably in a different place. Yes, so, no, I think we're going to answer that question first. He was asking about the environment.
They're looking around like, what the
Last
fuck?
question over here.
Yes, there are. I mean, just in the panel before this, we see Dead City is in a different environment. The Rick and Michonne show will be in a different environment, and of course. the
Look
show
at
as
you
well.
fucking
And,
being Scott and Gimple.
it's a
fucker.
universe that is constantly expanding and reinventing itself. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. I think that's the one final hand go up over here. Do we have a question over here?
Fuck.
Oh, I don't know if there's a roving microphone, so I'll come over so I can.
Freaking idiot. Such a moron. Come on.
I can.
Oh my god, you guys are shit with this microphone thing.
The actress who been up. Jesus. The actress who been on
Moron.
Walking Dead.
Come on. You're making this more difficult. I can't still hear her. You guys are fucking stupid. I can't even hear her. What are you doing? Did you even give her the mic? I doubt it. Oh my god.
Wonderful, yeah. So, just as we're, before we get to some of the things that we brought to the
Guys,
show,
Jesus Christ.
a great way to start to wrap up this portion of the panel is, just talking about your experiences on the show. First from Michael as a director, and then from Kim and Jenna and Christine as performers.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Working with the actors, especially.
All right, I'm gonna stop it here because we're coming up to the time, boys. I'll watch the rest of it later. Seemed pretty interesting. I like it how they had the frickin' moron, Mr. Ian, the dingus, frickin' beat Scott and Gimple. Like, get out of here, you trash. I mean, for real. He didn't say anything new, and I mean, I'm surprised that guy didn't answer the question himself. I mean, he clearly is not. He's clearly under a rock. Sorry, not sorry, but I mean, come on. They announced Dead City. They announced Rick and Michonne. They announced Daryl Dixon. You know what I mean? They said the locations of those shows. So I don't know why you have to sit here and ask these dweebs what the fuck it is. They don't. He doesn't know shit. He's an idiot. He's just gonna tell you, oh yeah, Dead City's gonna be in a different location. Yeah. It's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Anybody could answer that. You're not telling me anything new. All right. Like, subscribe. Reaction to Fear, season 8, episode 1 coming up. Let's get it.